It is now time to review the latest adaptation of a book and the latest movie by Steven Spielberg, Ready Player One. This movie sort of got a mixed reception. Some say it lives up to the hype, others say it doesn't. What side am I on? Well, in case you're wondering, it did. My only gripe, which is one thing that affects book adaptations into movies, that is the differences between the book and the movie. There were a few parts I remember from the book that didn't make it into the movie. But really, that's the only complaint I could think of off the top of my head. I'm sure they planned every, maybe most, of the parts from the book into the movie, but just didn't work out that way. It is not easy to make a movie the exact same as the book. Though I only read part of the book, and coming from someone who isn't a book reader myself, I was still able to get some sort of enjoyment from the movie as its own. Sure, if you didn't read any of the book, you wouldn't quite understand the plot of the movie, but you would still enjoy it. Not to mention, if you look at it that way, this movie is basically pop culture, the movie. So it definitely has its audience. Not to mention all the references like Tracer and Chun-Li and the Battletoads and the Ninja Turtles and like Halo and Minecraft. Even the Arkham Knight was in it for a few seconds. We had like Goro get his like own spotlight, but turned out to be Artemis in disguise. Stuff like that was I feel like was well executed into the movie. I feel like it was done right. Some might disagree, but I liked it that way. I really did. Uh, I like it when like these references are done right, and I think this movie did a good job with that. Like sometimes when you include so many references, it can seem like a cash grab or like just just not really a movie or a game, depending on what media it is. Just seems like it's some advertisement for the media you're referencing. But this definitely isn't that. It did it right while still maintaining the its own movie. All right, it's not like the Emoji Movie where every reference seemed more like an ad. All right, gosh, this isn't even comparable to the Emoji Movie. This is so much better. I also feel like the plot was done right into the movie. Basically, there's this thing called the Oasis. It's pretty much like VR chat, but it's you actually get to interact with it. Like it's sort of hard to explain. You gotta watch a movie or read the book to understand. But and then like there's this there's like this giant Easter egg that also includes like $500 billion. I could be mistaken, but $500 billion, and like there is this entire team after it. Well, we just had just a few guys after it. I feel like I just messed that up, but that's pretty much what it was like. It's not that hard to copy it over into a movie, and a lot of movies sort of mess up copying over plots of books into film adaptations. This movie did it right, though. Believe me when I say this, it might be one of the best book to movie adaptations there are. I mean, even if you take into account The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and Harry Potter, that's quite impressive. Maybe it's not quite as good as those, though I haven't really don't really know so myself. I mean, those movies are pretty good, but this movie is great. Maybe we'll see a sequel to the book down the line, and then the book will get a movie adaptation down the line as well. And maybe, I don't know, sequels to book to movies don't really, they aren't really as good, but like, I don't know. I also really like how they included stuff like Atari facts and even playing Atari games to help like get past their obstacles that they had to come across. I feel like that was unique, and it was at the very end. This is sort of another problem I had. The end was sort of what I mean by the end. Okay, what I really mean is sort of more the like climax of the movie, which was connected to the ending, kind of. I feel like it was a bit rushed, but at the same time, like just strolled on forever. Like the climax is what took kind of long, but the end is what was rushed. It's like they took long with the climax, and then they took too long, they had to rush the ending. The climax, it was just like, I know this is sort of how it was like in the book, but the climax was just like he's trying to get the key. It's just one thing after another. It doesn't. It takes forever. It's like I mean I was anticipating what was gonna happen next, but even I like eventually realized, all right, this has to end sometime soon. And then the ending came along, and they sort of like rushed the ending. Oh, that's just how I feel. I'm sure many other people can beg to differ, but yeah, I really need to see this movie again. If I ever have the chance to, I definitely will. Not every movie I get to see twice, but this movie, if it is one of those I get to see twice, I definitely will. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this movie, really. Um, and then one more thing, I was a bit confused with one part, seeing like characters die. I saw like everyone died in the Oasis, but then like they sort of weren't dead. It was weird, but that was that didn't bother me that much. So yeah, Ready Player One was a really great movie and should join the legacy of legend Steven Spielberg. It's a great movie. Wouldn't call it perfect or even a masterpiece, but definitely a great movie. And uh, it's I can't really call it this, but definitely one the best probably like the best video game movie there is. That's not saying much. Plus, it's not necessarily a video game movie, but you know what I mean. It's one of the best book movies by far. That's why my final rating for Ready Player One is a 9.4 out of 10. Great movie. That's what I can call it. Great. No, not great. Probably essential. It's essential. Not perfect, but essential. That's a little too much as well. How about great and solid put together? There we go. That's a solid's more essential is more close to perfect. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen Ready Player One? I know this review is coming out a bit later. I mean, the movie's been out for like 5 days now, depending on when this actually uploads and publishes. It would have been out for like 5 or 6 days. But yeah, I still, as long as it's not too late, I had to review this movie. I don't like reviewing movies too late. But yeah, have you seen this movie? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.